Alright guys, and welcome to the 37th episode of Below the Bar.
In this episode, expect to find out the unconventional path that led Eddie to becoming a personal trainer, why putting your product first is the key to success in any business,
And how the corporate 9-to-5 existence can be detrimental to your physical and mental health.
Let's get into it. What's happening, guys?
Before we get into the episode, we want to help you out.
In case you didn't know, when we're not gobbing off in Eddie's bar, we're actually online coaches.
We are indeed, and as a former Royal Marines commando, Harry spends his time helping people physically prepare for life in the military. And I can guarantee he'll get you through any arduous course you can throw at him. Isn't that right, Shep?
Bang on, Rex. And if you're tired of looking and feeling like shit, then let Eddie help you take back control of your life. He used to be a fat sack, and now he looks like a Greek god. That could be you.
If you want to transform how you look, perform, and feel, then get in contact with us.
The link will be in the description. Hello, and welcome to the pod. So, slightly different today. We actually have a guest episode. However, it's an insular guest episode. So, it's long awaited, and it's the interview of a good co-host, Eddie Rex.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously, we started this podcast with kind of interviews of me and my time in the military. And then we sort of segued into really random topics.
We're gobbing off,
Yeah.
basically, is how I would... The umbrella term that I would use.
True. But we yet to do a full sort of breakdown of Ed. So, we're going to do that today. We're going to go... I'm going to try and keep it chronological.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to go from the top. Obviously, I know you very well. But for the benefit of the listeners...
Bit too well, some
yeah,
people might
well,
say.
this is it. Well, we spent 15 years as fucking best pals, and we're now living together. So
You could throw me under the bus here, like Emily Maitlis in the Prince Andrew interview.
as long as you can sweat, we'll be all right. Okay, cool. So,
And I went to the Falklands.
no, well, yeah, I mean, with the RAF Reg, it's embarrassing, really. I wouldn't go off too much about that.
Well, yeah. See about that.
Okay, so again, we're gonna go from the top. So, like, we've done an episode on our school time and sort of going in detail with, you know, how we each found schools. I'm not gonna go too much into that. I wanted you to paint a picture of your kind of relationship with exercise and sport
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
as you grew up. So,
I am a personal trainer, so...
well, there we go. So that's what I thought the angle of attack.
yeah.
So sort of, I guess, primary school into maybe early secondary school, which is where we met. Yeah, what was your sort of relationship with fitness, with kind of sport as a whole?
So it's fair to say I wasn't, particularly gifted athletically as a small child, and I think that still haunts me to this day. I think, a lot of people end up in the fitness space probably because they're naturally quite gifted. It's not to say that everyone, that's the case for everyone, but I think a lot of personal trainers either end up there because they have nothing else, or because they look like they should be a personal trainer, so they are.
Yeah.
And then there are people that are actually there because they actually genuinely enjoy it and they see the benefits of kind of like physical exercise and what it can do to your body and your mind. And I think I fall into that category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree.
Because I was never kind of like the stereotypical jock at school.
Yeah.
I know that's an American term, but I know it translates.
Well, we're in America, so we may as well
appropriate. Yeah, it translates over. As I say, at primary school, I was in the football team, but it's fair to say that I was carried by other individuals. We did quite well. We were the county champions.
Yeah, we did have a good football team.
No, I'm on about primary
school. Primary school?
Yeah, I wasn't. This is
secondary
what I
school.
mean. So like,
Okay.
I hung up my football boots about 10 years before everyone else. Because as soon as we got to secondary school, I already started packing on the pounds at that point. So I didn't.
Okay.
I literally gave up football when we transferred from mini pitches to full size.
Right. Okay. So you were quite sporty as like a younger kid, but you were like into it.
Yeah, but no more so than any other kid.
You
really,
weren't naturally predisposed, but you were doing stuff.
Yeah. So like, I was fit and active in the sense that I don't know whether it's so relevant now, but in terms of like people, maybe we were the last generation for this, but like you'd play in the street. You'd play football.
I think. To be fair, I think we were, unfortunately.
So like my NEAT was very high,
Okay.
but like I was never going to be picked for like county athletics, or like I wasn't going to get headhunted for like any particular sport. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense. So your dad's a PE teacher, right? So is there anything to do with that? Did your dad push you down any roads, or was none of that?
No, there was none of that. So like in terms of my upbringing, I think we touched on this before, but I was basically fuckerised For anyone familiar with like the Meet the Parents film franchise, like, I was very much kind of like allowed to do what I found interesting. Like I wasn't pushed down any particular. There was no helicopter parenting where like I was encouraged to do certain things. But I think it almost had like an adverse effect, my dad being a PE teacher, because it was just so ever present in my life. It almost put me off.
Yeah, so in those earlier years when you were like, well, you're sort of seeing it all the time and surrounded by it 24/7, you divert away from that sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, it kind of jarred me out because like he played rugby, not to like any significant level, but
it
like
depends if you ask him, he did.
Yeah. But yeah, so he played rugby, so like on a weekend I basically wouldn't see him because all day Saturday he'd be out. So in my mind, I kind of painted like a negative picture of sport because I just associated it with not seeing my dad basically at the weekend.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
And then after school, obviously because he was like very committed to his job, like he was a good PE teacher, he'd be running sports clubs. So again, you wouldn't see him. So it just jarred me out, if anything.
Yeah, so you're attaching sport with this. So how about kind of spectating then? Because you and your dad have always had quite a fond view of rugby and all cricket and kind of all the sport, but you always watch them together. I feel that's a relationship I think you've built with. I don't know whether that's into later life or was that present when you were younger as well?
No, yeah, we have always watched sport. It's weird actually that I've never really kind of unpacked it myself, but I've always been more of a spectator than I have an actual participant, and I think that goes for everything in my life, to be honest, because I'm quite introverted.
Yeah, makes sense actually.
I am more of a voyeur.
Yeah, you're living through.
So like I am. So like anyone that knows me, like I am quite anal when it comes to like football stats or like anything to do with sport. Really, if I get into a sport, like
you're sort of into it. You are.
I am into it. Like I know everything about like certain players and teams, but like. That normally then spurs people on to play that sport.
Well, certainly younger.
Yeah,
so like pre-16 years old. That certainly is the trajectory. Yeah.
But like it's weird. That was never really the case with me. I was always quite content with just being Rain Man. And like, I just hang my coat on the fact that I knew more about the sport than other people.
Everyone else, even if you weren't maybe as gifted in it. That is interesting.
Maybe that's where personal training comes into. To be fair, because I kind of live vicariously through
clients,
other people. Yeah, like clients.
That's true, actually. Yeah, so being introverted, almost an advantage in that small sort of area. If you put it in that direction.
Yeah, and then to elaborate on that slightly, obviously, I know we always set ourselves kind of like races and challenges, which we inevitably talk about on the podcast. But I don't actually like talking about like the gym that much.
Like reps and sets.
It just doesn't interest me really.
Yeah,
because like you grew up in like a CrossFit environment where it's almost very much encouraged. It's part of the culture. Like after the class, you'll stay behind for a bit and talk about.
That's part of the community aspect in terms of like you'll say, oh, that workout was so hard. I found this whatever.
Yeah, but whereas exercise for me is a very like solitary pursuit. As soon as I've got my like mental health dosage and I'm back up to baseline, I'm out of there.
Yeah, so exactly. So to map Eddie's sort of trajectory as in terms of from a day perspective. So like you've got Eddie before the gym and Eddie after the gym, effectively, right? So you've got Eddie before the gym, who's very kind of very very mellow, very sort of like you won't get much out of him. And then there's the gym, which almost is like a catalyst for Eddie after training, and then like you say, you don't really like to talk about it too much because it's just it's almost a vehicle to feel better about different things, whether it's anxiety, whatever it is, I don't know. But like that is huge. And I think you found, we'll get into this, but I think you found that relationship with exercise and training in sort of late secondary school. We'll get into that in a second. So in terms of, we always talk about like fears being a huge thing in relation to confidence and liking the way you look, feeling good about the way you kind of perform, etc. So obviously linking back to what we were talking about at the start with not or hanging up your football boots a little bit early and that kind of thing, and putting on a little bit of timber towards the start of secondary school. Obviously, because so for anyone who doesn't know, hasn't listened to previous episodes, Ed went to school, primary school, like out of town, effectively.
Yeah.
So you didn't really know anyone coming to secondary school, right?
No, I didn't know anyone by name anyway. Like I recognised faces.
Okay. Yeah, because
just
you obviously lived in the area.
Just by virtue of living in the local area, but I didn't formally know anyone. So I went to primary school with my mom, who was a head teacher
at that primary school.
So like I started at nursery just because it was easier for her to take me in the morning, and then I just carried on through the years. And by the time I got to like year 4 or 5, we had the conversation of, well, should we kind of bed him in at a local primary school to us so that he knows people when he goes to secondary? But just because of like the logistics of it, it never happened.
It is massively, I imagine, massively difficult for halfway through a school career to then just change tacks and go somewhere completely different. It would have maybe been a bit beneficial for you, but I think, you're fine anyway. But like,
well, it was going to be hard regardless, because I would have then gone to a primary school where I didn't know anyone.
Exactly.
And then 2 years later, I would have gone to another school. So if anything, we just cut out the middleman, because it saved me going to one less school
and saved you a shitload of logistics. And stuff
yeah,
like
exactly.
Okay, so again, to that point, I guess, when you came to secondary school, where you met me and everyone else, like, obviously because you didn't know anyone initially, how was your kind of confidence and experience with that? Because I know anyone, I'm fairly extroverted, but even I going into, I am now anyway, I probably wasn't then, even me going into a foreign environment is fairly fucking like over facing. So what was that like?
Not great. I mean, you know from our secondary school episode, I don't have particularly fond memories of the early years of school.
Yeah.
And I just think I went really into my own shell in like year 7 particularly, and then part of year 8, and then by year 9 I'd like kind of found like training as like my thing. Cool. So it was less so. But in year 7, like I just like fully went into like my own world of like video gaming, and I just doubled down on like eating for comfort. Yeah. Not exercising. Obviously, because like there's obviously quite a heavy like social aspect to training as well, or like in team sports anyway.
And stuff, yeah.
And obviously, because I didn't know anyone, that didn't appeal to me, and it's kind of like a vicious circle. Because then,
correct, yeah, because you're going. So you've gone to school where you don't know anyone, to then like have the confidence to go to a sports team where you also don't know anyone, and you've got to maybe like create new relationships with those people, and then you're thinking, you're going to try in multiple sports because you don't really know what you're going to turn your hand to in that age. So like for me, I wasn't into the gym at all at that age, obviously, because I was like 13. But I had football my entire life, and so that was my vehicle for like physical activity. But if you didn't have that, you're right, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do anything.
Well, I didn't.
Well, there you go. So like you'd be indoors all the time, and we know now that it's not very conducive to good mental health. But like you're not moving much. You're kind of on video games all the time. You're indoors quite a bit, and then if we fast forward a little bit to when you did start to find training, find your sort of fucking niche, I guess. Was that year? You say that was year 9?
I can't remember exactly, because like we're getting back a bit now. So actually getting like quite old, but I think it was around year 9 where I kind of like, because obviously like it, ironically like the extra weight like lent itself to being quite strong, like mass moves mass ultimately. But I remember having this realization of like, I bought my first bench, bought my first set of barbells just on like a whim almost, being like, oh, this could be for me. And then like I actually thought, oh, I'm actually quite good at this. And I can do it on my own.
Yeah, perfect.
So like I'd found my escape really, because I like the feeling that I get after I've trained. It's like an escape, like a positive escape that I hadn't had. So you obviously got the escape of like eating shit food and like video gaming, but they're all just kind of like short-term wins, aren't they?
Yeah.
I kind of had that realisation that like I can actually channel my time and energy into this. This is productive long-term as well as short-term.
Exactly. So it's like inverse thing where it doesn't feel amazing once you're doing it, but it does afterwards. Whereas video games or anything else feels great in the moment, but then shit after. So that was kind of year 9. It's kind of interesting that you started training by yourself rather than going to a gym externally. Yeah, you thought, I'm going to buy shit and then fucking I'll just train by myself. So I'm going to be on my own then.
My fitness journey is basically like the antithesis of most other people's fitness journeys. Like it started on my own, away from people. And has largely continued to do that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But again, linking back to what you were saying before, that's why now, when I'm like, so when we try and do group conditioning or, pairs workouts, whatever it may be, you just fucking like bollocks.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show how like formative those teenage years are, because a lot of the things that we did then are kind of entrenched in our outlook and our behaviours now.
Yeah, and so like our personality traits and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So like my initial years of training were very much kind of like powerlifting driven.
Yeah.
Like I'd basically just do like 5x5 every session, like the main compound lifts.
But by the way, for anyone listening, that is a fucking phenomenal foundation to build at that age.
Oh yeah, it served me well. Like if you want to go into kind of like, if you want to basically be jacked, like that is a good starting point. And
yeah, because when you're that young, you'll respond to anything. You're what some might call a super responder.
But then obviously you like all of your early phys was primarily like cardiovascular fitness, wasn't it?
All zone 5.
So now like you lend yourself more to running.
Yeah, because I've just got more of a base built
exactly.
in that
So
sort
like
of thing.
my base lies more in kind of like brute strength.
Yeah,
effectively.
we're completely opposite really, because when we have to do things that are more sort of cardiovascular endurance driven, you're having to put more work in, having to kind of grind a little more, whatever. When we're in the gym squatting together, I'm like fucking 20 kilos behind. I'm hanging out as well, so it's even down to like the movement efficiencies and the movement patterns are just so ingrained. Every squat for you looks exactly the same, whether it's 200 kilos or 100. For me, because it's not ingrained, it doesn't.
That is weird actually.
And we were saying the same with running.
Yeah, so like the marathon for me nearly wrote me off in terms of like for at any given point during our training, I was nursing some kind of injury.
Yeah,
be it actually physical or just psychological. Like, it was just so draining for me because I was carrying like about, I don't know, like 10, 15 extra kilos compared to you. But then equally when we did at that kind of like strength goal at the end of the year, so you wanted to do your 100 kilo snatch and I wanted to do my 200 kilo squat. It was like the complete opposite, wasn't it? Because you couldn't put any weight on.
Yeah.
You don't naturally lend yourself to kind of like top end strength training anyway.
No.
Whereas I just basically stopped walking as much, ate slightly more, and I'd done it in 6 weeks.
I know, and you'd also. How much did you put on in that time?
Like 5 kilos.
So without even like a concerted effort, you put on 5 kilos. I was actively trying to put on weight, and I hadn't put on anything. Interestingly, since being in America, because the food's all so hypercaloric, I've put on like a kilo and a half, which for me is a lot.
Yeah, and like inversely, I'm struggling to lose weight
because of the high calorie stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Before that reason.
Yeah, it's interesting. Cool. So let's go a little bit forward in terms of the timeline. So into college, obviously, you know, like you said, you were building that fucking entrenching 5x5 into your personality for a good amount of time. I just want to make sure that's still recording. We've had dramas with the fucking records, so you might notice a cut about 20 minutes ago. So into college and stuff, because it's kind of it's the first time you go from into a new environment, but you knew people this time. So was that a different thing? Because you've got more confidence, so that's a check. Because you've trained a bit, you lost loads. I think you were shredded by that point.
Yeah,
I remember you being fucking shreds, and then you gone to a new place where you actually knew people. So how was that different?
I love college, to be fair. So like our secondary school didn't have a sixth form, so we had to move on effectively if you wanted to do your right. Well, everyone had to move on.
Yeah,
because you couldn't hang about because you're like, unless you were waiting to pick up birds in the year below after school.
Some people
were. So basically I went to kind of like the best sixth form in the area. Flex. Again, with loads of people. So like our secondary school was a bit of a feeder school for this sixth form college. So the majority of people in our year I'd been to secondary school with, so it was great. And at that point I'd learned that I didn't particularly enjoy exams, but I could pass them if I actually
dug out a bit.
If I dug out a bit, so that was ideal. So, and at that point I'd kind of been indoctrinated into the education mindset, obviously growing up in a household of 2 teachers, and then realising that you're all right at passing exams. You just think, oh well, this is sound, then I'll ride this out until uni.
You get survivorship bias, don't you?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay, cool, well I'm good at it, I may as well fucking just carry on.
So like at that point, bringing it back to fitness, like the gym is still just my outlet. Like it's not something that I ever think is going to be like my career or my business. It's always just the thing on the side that I can escape to, you know, when I do get fed up with exams or revision or, you know, whatever it might be. And also at this point you're still training at home, so that escape is like both a physical one and a solitude one, right? So you can have that solitary outlet without going to like a commercial gym and having fucking shitloads of people around, which probably massively helped, I think. Yeah, we should emphasise that. Like up until a few years ago, I never had a gym membership. early on, when I discovered that I liked lifting, I commandeered the family conservatory and turned it into a gym.
Yeah.
I just put a power rack in there and like all of my weight plates, and then that was it. That was my gym.
Yeah.
So like all the exercise that I did basically for like the first 5 years of me lifting either had to be done with a barbell or a dumbbell.
So this is interesting. So if you now look at Eddie and think he's jacked, that foundation, because you haven't really put on much muscle in the last like 5 years or whatever.
No.
So that foundation was almost exclusively built with a barbell, a bench, and a fucking power rack. So when you think you need like shitloads of machines or whatever it is, you just need the basics, and you just need to be able to do those consistently and well and progress them. Like we say, 5x5, just fucking do it for years and it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's boring.
Yeah,
but it works.
Yeah, so and that's probably an advantage, because if for me, training probably needs to be a little bit more enjoyable, needs to be kind of a little more engaging. For you, if it's just an escape and it's like a bit of a vehicle for making you feel better mentally, you can actually just succumb to just being a bit bored in your sessions. Like, it's not really that,
Well, I think earlier on, when I first started training, I'm less inclined this way now. But initially, the rigid structure of like 5x5, and I knew exactly, like, my sessions would stay the same. I'd do the same thing every week. I'd eat the same. Having that control over my fitness for my mental health was good, because I had less control in other aspects of my life.
Well, it's the one constant often, isn't it, for that, whether it be nutritionally or training. Because like you say, certainly when you're going through that age, we're talking about like 16 to 18 here, like, everything's thrown at you. You're having to reinvent yourself socially. You're discovering drink and fucking girls, whatever. So there's shitloads of stuff going on. So if you can have that one constant that you're attaching or anching into, then
100%.
then
And
that's
with
really
exams as well and stuff, like,
yeah.
At college, like, I mean, it sounds wrong. I mean, I remember one of my sixth form lecturers telling me this at the time, and I remember thinking that's got to be bollocks. But she said the hardest you will ever work in your life is passing your A-level exams.
That's mental, isn't it? Do you think that's right?
And I think it is actually right.
Well, I never did A-levels because I did BTECs.
Obviously, depending on how you apply yourself to your A-levels and how seriously you take them. Obviously, at the time, like, it's all you know, so it's like the be-all and end-all, isn't it? Looking back now, it's obviously not that deep. But it probably is the hardest I ever worked, maybe with the exception of, like, the marathon.
Yeah, that's wild. Oh, it's obviously a different thing. It's difficult to compare it. That's wild, though, isn't it? Like, you're so young at that point, and there's, like I say, it's a lot of other stuff going on. It's kind of a transitional period. So to have that as the hardest you're going to work is fucking mental. So to have this kind of escape is really useful. So I want to get into uni, because as you mentioned, you went through the entire educational spectrum. And we'll get into all of that in a sec. But basically, I wanted you to cover off, because I didn't really know this myself, I don't think. So you stayed at home for uni. So you went to uni in Birmingham.
Yeah.
But you chose to live at home.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning behind that decision?
Oh, I don't know. This is one of my big regrets, people. If you do go to university, don't stay at home. For some bizarre reason, I got it in my head that I would just completely neglect, like, the social side of uni and almost go monk mode. So this is where this is a good example of where me taking the unconventional path didn't work. Because this is a feature of my life, right? I'm so stubborn that it's almost hardwired into me to go against the grain, whether it's good or bad. Like, I just have, like,
as soon as you commit, you're fucking in.
Yeah, like, I have, like, an authority complex, definitely. I don't know where it stemmed from, but so anyway, I decided to stay at home and go to the University of Birmingham and not live away at the University of Liverpool, which now in hindsight is fucking stupid.
Just pause there. that is absolute. You taking VAR?
We just stop that there.
Yeah, that's fucking the capital of Ireland, Liverpool. Yeah. I mean, anyway. So was it like a financial decision initially? I guess
I think so. I think I took one look, obviously, like uni fees and like cost of living, and I thought, fuck this, I might as well just live at home. It's got everything that I want. It's got my gym. It's got my mates from home, because like a lot of our mates didn't actually go to uni. Yeah, there was like quite a significant split. So
it was almost like staying with what you knew versus the potential discomfort of new stuff.
Yeah, and again, like the more I unpack this, the more frustrated I get with myself. And I don't really know. My parents didn't push me to do it more, to be honest, because they went to uni in Liverpool, and that's where they met.
Yeah, that should have been.
So that really is the writing's on the wall there, isn't it?
Yeah, like, there you go.
But yeah, so I stayed at home for uni, and then obviously just kind of did the same thing that I did at college, but instead of going to Stourbridge, which is 3 miles down the road, I'd commute to Birmingham, which is 13 miles down the road.
Yes, you just like extended it a little bit, just evolved slightly. So you did geography at uni?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I did. So to be clear, I have 2 degrees. The first one is in geography, which has feck all to do with fitness. The second one is my master's degree is in international relations, which again has feck all to do with fitness. And that's why I say, like, I'm in the fitness industry now because I want to be here.
Yeah, this is true.
Like, I didn't fall into it, because I look like I should be a personal trainer. As I said, I had no real athletic talent,
prowess,
and I didn't fall into it as a last resort because obviously, like, I got good A levels. I went to like a red brick uni. I did the university thing. I got the 9-to-5 job. It was soul destroying. I actually realised that the one constant through all of this was fitness, like staring me right in the face.
Yeah, it's true, man. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you whether you recommend uni for people. On the whole, obviously there's context, but yeah, I wanted to ask that because I never went. And it's kind of something I mull over at times because I obviously went into the Marines and had a fucking awesome time there. It's given me what I have now, right? But there's nothing to say I couldn't have done that later and gone to uni for 3 years because that would have been such a sick experience, I think, anyway.
I think if you're going to do it for the reasons that I did it, as in, like, you envisage this degree magically opening doors for you, and you see it just as like an exercise in academia, then definitely not. I think if you picture it as a social experience and you see those 3 years as basically a chance to discover who you are, meet people,
move away,
and build networks, then 100%.
Yeah. I think obviously there's like massive exceptions in terms of if you want to be a fucking doctor or a lawyer or something, you probably have to do it.
If you want to do something proper,
if you want to have a proper
do
job,
need the qualifications for it. But if you're a bottom feeder like me and you're learning about fucking rivers, then not.
Yeah, so uni's an interesting one. I think I potentially would have enjoyed it if I'd have done something that was relatively interesting to me. I think interesting to me now is different to what was interesting to me back when I was like 18 and uni age. So I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it anyway because I was sick of education by that point.
Yeah, I think the idea of like getting a degree and then it magically opening doors for you in terms of like job prospects is that myth's kind of been busted now.
Yeah, it's less true now than it ever has been.
But I think socially the benefits of university are there for all to see.
110%.
And I think I missed out on that. And probably now, like, I kind of double down on like my introvertedness by not going and moving away for uni because it allowed me to just stay in my shell.
Well, this is it. Yeah, so it allowed you to stay in what's comfortable versus it would have been it would have involved discomfort moving away, and it does for everyone. But even more so if you are introverted because there's almost zero chance that you're going to go and move with someone you know already. So you're going to have to fucking extend yourself a little bit. But when you're that age, that's what teaches you how to do it, isn't it? And if you consider that to be a useful skill in later life, which I think it is, then it's something to consider. I always get asked it when I'm like, should I go to uni before I go join the Marines? It's like it's not like it's going to make you get promoted quicker, but
no,
it's going to build your character. You're going to mature a little all that sort of stuff. So
I am a massive believer in education though, and a lot of the stuff that I do like push in relation to being like a personal trainer and online coach is all kind of education driven.
Yeah,
I just think at that age, the narrative that you should go to uni to get a degree to kind of fall into a job that you're not necessarily even really interested in, but it like you've been told that it's a good job, so you should do it. I think that is like a bit of a worn out narrative now.
Yeah. Again, I think it's being unpacked a bit more as we go through, just because of access to social media and access to people, that you can see that are doing something unconventional that is maybe serving them more or whatever. Because before you wouldn't see it, you would just be like, oh well, that's what my brother did, so I'll do that.
Yeah,
same thing. So then you went on to do a master's.
Yeah.
in Manchester.
So now I have moved
Now
away.
you have moved away.
I've finally left home
Left
at
the nest.
the ripe old age of 20 or 21 or whatever it was.
Yeah. So that's a year.
Yeah, so I just did a full-time 1 year master's degree.
Yeah.
So like I'm a full-time student, got my loan to live off, I got a part-time job at the co-op, moved up there with my then girlfriend in a house with her friends that she made in first year. So like there was one school year between us, but she had to do a foundation year for her degree, so it ended up being 2 school years, if that makes sense.
So she was in first year of uni, right? Or second
So
year?
she was going into second year
Yeah.
when I was starting my masters.
Yeah, okay.
So which is a very... So anyone that knows about higher education, you're in a very different mindset when you're in second year than you are if you're a
100%.
master's student.
I mean, having never done it, I can see that straight away.
Yeah, so again, that was probably naive on our part, thinking that was really going to work. Like, spoiler alert, it didn't.
Go and listen to the relationships episode if you want us to get quite deep and philosophical about relationships.
We won't get bogged down in that, but basically, like 3 months into it, the relationship was kiboshed.
Yeah.
I moved out of the house in Manchester and then spent 3 months commuting to uni from my uncle's, who lives in Chester, which is about an hour's train journey. So it's manageable.
It's not bad.
It's not too
better
bad.
than
Like, it
home,
could have been a lot worse. Like, I'm very lucky that all of my mum's side of the family are from the northwest, so I had like a refuge effectively.
Yeah.
But then in March of that year, COVID happened. So
yeah.
So like it was a very... You could break my master's degree down into 3 like quite significant periods of time, all very like contrasting.
Yeah, it's true.
So I've got the kind of actually living in a student house. I've got the basically going back to what I had at undergrad when I was like living in my own little bubble again, and like my only concern was basically like doing the work.
Yeah.
And then we've got COVID time where I was actually genuinely then back at home, and it was like just
monk mode.
It was monk mode,
Yeah.
Because like all I was doing then, what all anyone was doing, was either working or studying, and in my case, training.
Yeah. So again, luckily you had that home gym.
Yeah. Which again, mate, always invest in gym. Gym equipment is some of the best investment one of the best investments you can ever make.
Yeah.
Because if you're into it and are going to be into it for life, it will always come in handy.
And it's pretty much the most durable thing you can buy, or it should be anyway.
Yeah, 100.
It's never gonna fucking...
And it holds its value pretty well as well.
Yeah. If you had gym equipment, you wanted to sell it in COVID, you could have made thousands.
Oh, 100%. Like if I'd took the plunge and sold all of my gym equipment now, because I have amassed quite a lot, I could have made bang.
You actually could, yeah. But it wouldn't probably worth it, because you couldn't get your hand on any.
As we always say, lad, you can't put a price on your health.
Exactly.
Because I needed that, ultimately, to stay
sane.
To stay sane.
Yeah.
No, not to... to stay sane.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, so COVID's a bit of a weird one. Obviously, you were studying for a little bit, and then did you go and do some like odd jobs and stuff? Because there was no real employment.
Yeah. I think we touched about this on the podcast, but I actually masqueraded as a handyman for about 9 months.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
It's a bit wild, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, officially, it wasn't, according to HMRC, it wasn't paid employment. But it was employment. Yeah. So that was weird, actually. So, like, at the back end of COVID, when things started to kind of open up again, I mean, this has got nothing to do with fitness, but it's a good dit. So, I got approached by, like, the older brother of one of the people that we went to school with, who was opening, like, a bar, like a sports bar. And he was like, because he knew that, because, like, I've built the shed that we normally do the podcast in at home, I built that with my granddad.
Yeah, you are quite handy, to be
I am. Again, that's another, like, that's a side quest of my life, like this flirtation with, like, carpentry and, like, woodwork that's been... I need to do my carpentry qualifications at some point.
Just to do it.
Just to close the loop, yeah. But I'm getting sidetracked here.
Yeah.
Like Rory Sutherland.
I'll pull him back.
What was I on about?
Your 9-month hiatus into the
that was it.
handyman world.
Yeah, so he approached me and he was like, I bought this, like, shell, effectively. I want to turn it into a sports bar. I don't really want to, like, fork out on loads of, like, tradies, basically, because the work that needed doing was pretty basic. Do you want to do it? And I'll just pay you, like...
So can I underpay you to do work? I usually pay a professional.
You're unemployed and you've just got a master's degree. Would you like some cash?
Yes.
Yes, I would.
There we go.
So I
Easy sell.
basically, like, painted walls, like built snooker tables. Like it was great, really, because I enjoyed like pottering about doing like DIY anyway.
Yeah, you told me you just had like AirPods in, fucking getting after it.
Yeah, exactly, because this place wasn't open, so it wasn't like because we were in COVID.
Yeah, and also there's fuck all else to do.
And there was fuck all else to do. I'd finished my master's degree, so I was just basically getting paid to fucking fanny around doing DIY. It was great.
Yeah,
and it kept me on my feet all day, so it was actually like good fucking like
neat.
Yeah, good neat.
Yeah. So that was sort of the 9 months before the next part of what we're going to get into here, which is we'll do this briefly because it's a traumatic subject. The Environment Agency, which is obviously your last employer.
Yeah, have we like, this is an exclusive. Do we ever disclose
I
who
don't
actually
know if we
worked
did.
for?
No,
I just said public sector job, didn't I?
Yeah, I think it is. Well, fuck it. We're in now. Yeah, so obviously then you went to work for the EA. So touch on that. Again, this isn't really fitness related. I just want to paint a bit of a picture. So along this time, if we map it with fitness, I guess COVID was just what it was, wasn't it? You fucking just doing whatever you can.
Going through the motions again, like basically revert to default. So my 5x5, just like primarily like strength training with like a bit of kind of like bodybuilding sprinkled in there, like finishes and stuff. Just
you did. When did you get into running?
On and off. Yeah, so I was running at this point. I've ran since like college, really.
Yeah.
And we haven't even touched on the fact that I was like vegan or
Yeah,
vegetarian.
we get into
I had a period where I lost quite a lot of weight because I went vegan, and that actually benefited my running. And I did 12 half marathons in 12 months in that year, like non-official half marathons. So like, I'd just do it on like
I remember this because I did a few of them with you.
Yeah, the local canal network.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was weird, but we won't get bogged down in that because I was led astray by certain females,
certain individuals.
Certain individuals
exactly.
led me down a dark path.
We're both easily led by certain individuals, and it doesn't serve us all the time.
No,
so.
well, you got to learn from your mistakes, and that was a horrible leaf-shaped mistake.
Leaf-shaped mistake. Yeah, so obviously you're kind of into running a bit. That's 12 half marathons in 12 months is fucking good going, by the way.
Yeah, I wish I'd actually done like real half marathons because this is pre-COVID as well, so I could have done.
Gets spenny that though, don't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, I've told myself this year that I'm going to do proper ones, so that's probably going to be quite expensive. But
started well
because I haven't done any, and we're in February now.
Yeah. Anyway, so Environment Agency, you worked there for how long total?
2 years, which is mental. 'Cause it was soul destroying. So like that's an achievement in itself.
Yeah. So your role was kind of interesting though. But if we view it through the kind of gratitude lens, which is where I always come at things. Yeah. It really allowed you a lot of time to figure out what the fuck you wanted to do next.
Yes, I'll choose my words carefully here for legal reasons. But how can I put this? My lack of workload allowed me to explore other interests, which have now become my primary job.
There we go. I like that. Yeah, that was nicely put.
So obviously, because I did my Masters in International Relations because the aspect of geography that interested me was human geography. So if you know anything about geography, like as a subject, it's split into physical and human. So all physical stuff is like volcanoes, rivers, all that shit. The human stuff is like sociology mixed with history, mixed with politics, mixed with economics, and it's a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
So I worked that out during my undergrad and then thought, right, well, I'll do my Masters in International Relations because that's kind of like doubling down on what I'm actually interested in. So my intention, obviously pre-COVID, was to get my Masters and then go into like diplomacy. So like be a diplomat, like work for the Foreign Office, get stationed in, I don't know, an embassy somewhere, good way to travel, and then when you're in the civil service, you've got like a good pension, all that bollocks, 9 to 5. COVID entirely fucking shot that in the face.
Yeah.
Because embassies closed, no one was travelling, you couldn't go anywhere. So the idea of me being a diplomat, someone who basically like globetrots for a living, didn't really wash in that current climate, did it? So I wound up at the Environment Agency because I needed a job. I couldn't really go anywhere. It was good pay relative for the lack of experience I had in the workplace.
Yep.
So my official job role was a flood asset inspector.
A flood asset? inspector. So for someone who's just admitted that they didn't like the physical side of geography, not ideal.
It's not ideal circumstances, I'll be honest. Because I ended up working... To be fair, the people that I worked with were lovely, but I just didn't really have anything in common with them.
Well, also, you didn't really have passion for the actual
and
job.
I didn't have any... And I say this, I can't emphasise this enough. I did not have any passion for that job.
Yeah,
it was very much a... What can I get away with doing here that requires...
A minimum effective dose.
I took the minimum effective dose to that job.
Okay, so because of that, though, so if we kind of bridge the gap a little bit now in terms of what was it that made you have an interest in, okay, now I want to do a personal training course and go into that, because I know you had a lot of more time on your hands than you maybe bargained for getting into full-time employment, because you were working from home quite a bit. So you had time to basically get your work done a little bit more efficiently, minus commute either way, and then you can push your sort of work day into other areas. One of those areas was your PT course. So what made you do that? Was obviously fitness has always been a thing.
I don't think there was a particular moment or epiphany, but over a period of time while I was in this job, and obviously you have a lot of time to kind of stew over your thoughts and kind of you double down on the fact that you're not particularly enjoying it, so you think, well, what else can I do? And it never really occurred to me that I could do fitness as an actual job, or be in the fitness space and make money from it, because it was always just like an escapism to me.
Yep.
But then over a period of time, I had the realisation, it's like, well, actually, I've amassed about 10 years worth of kind of experience now, and we're in the midst of an obesity epidemic.
Yeah.
So there's probably some money to be made here. I come from a family of educators. I'm very passionate about education.
Yeah.
I should probably converge these two things. And then I obviously landed at personal trainer.
Yeah, but it's effectively what a personal trainer is. He's an educator, because you can't do the fucking stuff for the clients. So you're basically telling them what to do and they do it. So it is that.
I mean, in fairness, it is kind of like, it's being a PE teacher for adults, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I have kind of
adult PT.
I have kind of landed at what my dad did.
Yeah, true. That's true.
I just don't have to deal with sprogs.
Yeah, you just don't have to deal with people you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a nicety.
Oh, it's very much on brand for me. That.
Yeah.
Very much on my terms.
Yeah, on your terms. Yeah, like a cat. Okay. So with that said, with you kind of, I want to get into your PT course a little bit. So your PT course wasn't like a 2-bob fucking weekender.
No.
It was a pretty comprehensive one, right?
Yeah. Again, it's another thing. I don't do things by half measures.
No.
As anyone that knows me can
vouch for.
Yeah. I am very much, if you're going to do something, do it properly. So I actually implore you to do this if you're thinking about doing a PT qualification. Look at your local colleges for night classes and adult courses, because you might be able to do it for free, because I got mine for free. So I applied through Dudley College, I got on, and then for 2 nights a week for 8 months, I went to Dudley College after work, and we'd do a practical session, we'd do a theory session. And like you said, it was pretty comprehensive. So we had a guy who, it turns out, actually has trained the family of one of our close mates for years, but I didn't know this at the time. Yeah. And he's an ex-squaddy, and he was honestly, it's a complete fluke, but he was probably the best teacher you could ask for.
Yeah.
Because he's been there, seen it, done it. He's mega passionate. He's mega experienced. And it just so happened through complete coincidence that he was the person that was leading my PT course. So
that's awesome, isn't it?
And then there's a lot of kind of you said, 2-bob PT qualifications out there. It's you go to one Zoom meeting for a few hours and then they send you a course in the post. But there are some very good PT qualifications out there that are proper kind of accredited, recognised qualifications. And it's just about fucking sniffing them out, basically, isn't it?
And it's free.
And it was free.
Well, yeah. So my PT course was purely online, because I was doing it when I was in the Marines, and that was £900. So you fucking landed a good one there. But yeah, so there are a lot of fucking wrapped ways to do your PT qualification. The issue is that a level 3 PT qual is just a level 3 PT qual from the outside looking in. However, your ability as a coach is far better than someone who just fucking sat on, like you say, sat on a Zoom call for 2 hours and then was like, oh, sweet, I've got a qual. So it is within your interest, if you are looking to get into the industry, to upskill yourself as much as possible before you put yourself in front of clients. Because those clients are either going to be fucking referrals for you, or they're going to give you a bad name. So, you know, it's within your interest to get it right first time, right? So I think that puts you in good stead. So, to that point, who is it you coach? What's your sort of avenue? What's your kind of ideal client?
Yeah, so I'm a big advocate of the idea that you can only coach from a position that you've been yourself.
Yep.
With that in mind, my ideal clients are people that probably have lost their way a bit with fitness and exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that are now kind of feeling the impacts of that in other aspects of their life. So potentially their confidence has been knocked.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of gone a bit in on themselves. I've noticed particularly, I know I didn't particularly seek out this niche as such, but there are a lot of people our age, so like what you would call kind of like Gen Z, I guess, who've done what I did. They went down the kind of like the academic route, they went to uni, now they've got a 9 to 5, and before they know it, they're kind of like mid-20s, have completely kind of like wrapped on their fitness through no fault of their own, other than the fact that they've just pursued what people have told them to pursue.
Just taking an eye off it.
They've taken an eye on it, and then before they know, they've actually kind of like lost their way a bit.
So they've got no direction. I definitely see that with our mutual friend group, and just generally throughout the population. I guess if you know, it's different for you because you had that, because fitness was always the anchor for you. So you kind of, without it being like a chore or something you had to remember to do, it was like, okay, I get to do this because then I feel better. So for you it's different, but for a lot of people who aren't that way inclined, they can get very busy very quickly with their professional life and their personal, like, social life, I guess. And then fitness 100% takes the first backseat. Yeah. The first thing to go is always the gym or whatever it is. And before you know it, like you said, you're kind of mid to late 20s and you feel you're kind of out of shape. You look at yourself in the mirror and think, how the fuck did that happen? And you, as a 25 to 30-year-old male or female, but male, you should be looking pretty good.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of kind of like low-hanging fruit that if you square away, you will be in good shape. 100%. It's not hard. And I think I'm in quite a good place to help these individuals, because I had this epiphany 10 years before them. So I've spent the past 10 years actually putting the things in place to rectify this issue. Yeah.
And so I guess you're trialing and testing stuff that entire 10 years, and things work, things don't work, things kind of yield a better return than others. And so you refine, you always talk about it, but like you've refined it back to effectively, we always say like doing the basics well, which is a sort of trite quote, but in a fitness respect, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, so obviously, as we've touched on, like, fitness was always the escape for me, and it was always very much a stripped back approach, because there was enough complexity in modern life and elsewhere in my life that fitness was just very much a go through the basic motions and you will get results. Mm-hmm. And I got comfort from that because, you know, with education, everything's got bells and whistles. With modern life now, things are needlessly overcomplicated, in my opinion. But fitness is one of still the true meritocracies. Whereas if you just turn up and do the basic stuff well and consistently, you can still go places.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, man.
And it's just about kind of like, see, this is where like I disagree with certain people in the fitness space, because they make it kind of like, they start using words like primal.
Exactly.
And like reconnecting with nature.
Yeah, certain individuals.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think it is about just rediscovering like your interest for movement. Yeah, I think we all have it.
It's innate.
You just need to discover what works for you.
Yeah, 110%. The sort of notion that humans are ever happier being sedentary
is bollocks.
Is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, all the narrative of like nothing's better than just like rapping on the sofa and eating a takeaway. That's bollocks. You've been conditioned to think that.
You've been conditioned to think it, and the only reason you feel like that is an escape is because you're so at like a degraded level of kind of sort of fitness and health that feels like it's the only thing you can actually bring yourself to do. Like for us, we only do that when we've fucked from like a 20k run or something.
And even then, I still feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
So we did like a 20k run yesterday, and then we treated ourselves, as it in inverted commas, with a cheesecake factory. Afterwards, and I'll be honest, it mugged me off. It was too much.
Well, this is it. So like that is how most people exist, and we talk about this a lot. Like you more so probably live more cleanly than fucking 98% of the population, as in, again, basics well. So fucking hydrates well. Sleeps decent, eats minimally processed food. So because of that, and that's your baseline.
Yeah.
When you go outside of that and have a big massive cheesecake, for example, you then feel terrible. Whereas if that is your constant and you're always having cheesecake all the fucking time, every night, and always having ultra processed food, you'll never know what it feels like to be okay, to feel like you should.
Yeah, it's like regression to the mean, isn't
it?
If your standard day-to-day life is scranning cheesecake and not moving, you soon become accustomed to that.
Yeah, and so you will feel a certain way, but that's why people feel low energy, low motivation. That's why you can't figure out how people train all the time. But it is just about, like you say, which is what you kind of do with your coaching stuff, is getting people back to, feeling how they should do at this age, at kind of our age and sort of beyond.
Yeah, I'm very transparent about that as well, because I do have quite a lot of issues with, again, certain individuals in the fitness space who pretend that they're selling some kind of like miracle formula and needlessly overcomplicate like the programs and the kind of narrative that they peddle to clients, because I guess it kind of gives them control over people, really, because if you basically bamboozle your clients and they don't really know what's going on, but you kind of delivering them results, so they stick with you.
It also gives the illusion that you're more intelligent than you kind of maybe are.
Yeah, it's like a power thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like, from the off, I'm very transparent. I'm being like, I'm basically going to strip what you're doing right down to the fundamentals, and it's just about doing them.
It's just about holding them accountable to those fundamentals. It's just about holding them
accountable to, and like it's actually a lot easier in theory than it is in practice, because you'd be amazed at how many individuals still struggle to do that.
Yeah, and it is. Like, it's about stacking things on top of each other, as we both know. You can't go all in at once and be like the fucking liver king. But it is the more of these things you can stack in your favour, the better you're going to feel. And so it's it's a good thing. And I think that niche is definitely required, because like I say, I mean, it's like polarised, our age group, innit? Like, you're either super into it and you're fucking competing at High Rocks or whatever, or you've just completely given up and you're like, well, I've got a house and a missus now, so I can just rap. But it's not about that. It's about how you feel.
Yeah, it actually jars me out, to be honest. Like, I feel quite passionately about this, because I've been down the kind of like the corporate 9-to-5 route. These companies don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
They will chew you up and spit you out.
Well, they're literally paying you the least amount of money they possibly can for your time.
Exactly.
Mad that.
And it's sad. I find it sad anyway that people kind of commit their entire lives to these kind of like arbitrary companies, and they give everything at the expense of their health for the prospect of like maybe a pension at the other side of it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't put a price on your health.
No, because
you always have to pay yourself first.
Correct. There's a great irony of that, where like you're going to get to the pension age and be too unhealthy to enjoy anything anyway.
Exactly. This is obviously like the kind of Bill Perkins philosophy on life, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he comes at it from a slightly different perspective in terms of, we're looking at it from like health, but yeah, exactly the same. Your ability to enjoy your freedom years, if you do that kind of 9-to-5 commitment, and you get to 65 if we're lucky, and get released into the pension world. If you're 60, so Peter Attia has a good fucking like frame on this. I can't remember the specifics, but like, if your 5k time is like under 23 minutes when you're 30, I believe, your ability when you're 85 to walk around is going to be huge. Whereas if it's above 30 minutes when you're 23, which everyone listening here, what's your 5K time if you're around that age? I bet it's around the 30-minute mark. If it's 30 minutes now, which isn't a bad 5K time, because of how you regress as you go into later life, it really doesn't put you in a good space when you're 70, 75. So it's almost about thinking, how do I want to feel when I'm fucking like 75? Okay, how fit do I have to be now? Because it just regresses. So the better your start point is, the better your fucking end point is.
That's the whole point of kind of like making individuals realise now that the sooner they square their health and fitness away, the easier it will become for them in later life.
On, yeah. And too many people leave. This is why the typical PT client is 45
because they've left it too.
Left it too late.
Not to say that it is too late, but it kind of is too late because you should have done this 20 years ago.
Yeah,
it would have been a fucking hell of a lot easier for yourself.
Well, it's just so over-facing if you leave it that long.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're kind of digressing. But I think that kind of rounds it off, brings us up to where we are, I guess, because you obviously left the environment agency in December.
Officially, yeah. I mean,
pop the champagne.
We have to caveat this. Mentally, obviously, I had checked out some years ago, but physically, I was still getting paid up until December.
Yeah, somehow. I mean, it's King's ransom. So yeah. Now we're out in America, and you're coaching stuff full time. So, that's kind of where we are.
I don't think there's anything else really.
Anything else to cover?
I mean, obviously, there's the myriad of offshoots like the vegan.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of
diaries.
stuff we've the vegan diaries. we've rattled through a bit, but is there anything you want to bring out? Obviously, in terms of what's next for you. Where are we looking? Have we got any plans?
Again, like I take the same approach to fitness as I do to business. So it's just about like incrementally building, doing the basics well, making sure I actually serve the clients that I have at the moment, instead of just kind of like, this is something that I found as well. There's another tangent here for you.
Yeah.
I'll throw some more beef here.
Yeah.
People, personal trainers or nutritionists, or anyone within the fitness space who put
gym owners
who basically put making money before their actual product.
Yeah, that's the long and short of it, isn't it?
That is the long and short. That's what it boils down to. And by this, I mean they will basically do anything to make a sale, take your money, over actually providing you the service that they say they will.
Well, we always put it down to like taking on basically more than you can handle.
Yeah, and again, this feeds into the kind of like voracious belief that I have about like if you're going to do something, do it properly.
Yeah,
that really and it's like it's an itch at the back of my brain that has to be scratched. It really bothers me when people basically just want to make money and don't actually care about what they're putting out for people.
Well, I think it bothers everyone but the kind of, if you're going to do something, do it properly is like ingrained into everything you seem to do.
Yeah, I'm quite. I've discovered this with age. I'm a very morally driven person. For someone that doesn't buy into organised religion at all, I'm incredibly kind of like morally and ethically driven.
Yeah,
it's like I am quite judgmental about people who I don't agree with their kind of like moral compass, basically, aren't I?
Well, that is hugely linked to what you're talking about, where you're gonna basically bend someone over backwards to get them over the line.
Yeah, I mean,
even knowing you can't really facilitate it admin wise or organisationally.
I mean, on paper, that's probably a terrible trait to have if you're a business person. But I'd like to think that we live in a world where you can still have morals and operate a successful business.
Well, yeah. So I think short term, you probably are at a little bit of a loss, just because. But then again, who cares about the short term? Like, businesses need to operate for fucking years and years. So in the short term, you could potentially sell someone a dream, fucking get them over the line, whatever, and then make loads of money. But long term, like I said before, with the coach who's got a shit qualification, doesn't always do him, that client who you get through the door and doesn't get a good service, is then going to go and tell their mates, "Oh, I've got this fucking coach, paid this much for him," which I hear a fair bit. Whereas the opposite to that is you have fucking 5 clients, but you serve those 5 clients to within an inch of your life, and you fucking do everything for them, whatever. Then those 5 clients will tell 5 people. Those 5 people will tell 5 people. So then it builds like that, and it builds slower.
Yeah.
But it builds better, and you have a better culture within inside your business.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And as I said, like I'm here in the fitness space because I've chosen to be here. It's not like a last resort. Like I'm not just trying to make quick bank and then fuck off somewhere else. Like this is me now. So I'm not going anywhere. So like if it isn't an overnight success, I'm not that arsed because I enjoy doing it and I intend to stay here.
Well, there you go. And actually, like that's a good frame to look at it through because it has to be. You have to have longevity with it. So the idea that you're just going to make a shitload of money overnight and then, because again, that like taking on 100 clients in a fucking day, you get loads of money, but then you've got a deal with 100 clients.
Yeah, and not to throw anyone under the bus, but we have countless examples of people that we know within the fitness space who we don't associate with for obvious reasons, who take this approach to business.
Yeah.
And it's not working out. Well, in the short term, it's working out.
This is the annoying thing.
Well, yeah, but like we just haven't had
the mass exodus.
We haven't kind of stayed with them long enough to see the mass exodus yet.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, one specific example that you found out about last week was quite fun.
Yeah,
we won't mention any names, but yeah.
But you promise people the world, you take their money, you can't deliver results. Next thing you know, you're making cringy fucking TikTok videos. You using templates and photos that you've stolen from work.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Which may or may not be a security risk.
Yeah, so again, it's an interesting one, and it's definitely a kind of good point to end on, I think, in terms of having integrity with what you put out there and who you work with, and doing everything you can for those individual clients. I think as well, like the start of your business or the start of your coaching career, mine obviously started in a gym in person. I didn't have any choice over who I worked with because I was contracted in, so I just got given fucking everyone.
Yeah,
and that allowed me to work and just be exposed to a plethora of different problems. You're now on the mindset of UK. You've got that niche which we've been through, but actually you're going to work with whoever.
Yeah, like as I say, I have a bit of a niche that I've developed just by virtue of having lived that experience myself. But like, I'm not shy to take on other challenges.
Well, this is it, and
that's all part of the growth, isn't it?
You will be a better coach because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're like, it's not just solving for one specific problem, which too many people do, and again, certain individuals have only done that one thing, and then
and I think like the fortunate position that we find ourselves in as well is because we kind of like try and take on new challenges and set ourselves new goals. So like we've done like hybrid fitness events, so we've done like Athex and High Rock, so like we now know how to fucking train for that. We've done marathons, we do like endurance stuff, like we're going to do an ultra in May,
strength goals,
so like you said, we're not doubling down too much into our niche, which I think is great if nothing else but for perspective, because it stops you getting too entrenched in the thought process of the people in that niche.
Yeah, and you stop getting that like group think of that niche. Yeah, definitely. And it's something we try and actively pull ourselves out of because it's difficult. Otherwise, I've got a very clear niche. But if I only operate in that niche, then I'm obviously not going to be able to serve other people who come in and whatever. So.
And to be fair, you started to come out, not deliberately, but like you have started to come out of that niche a bit more now, I think.
Yeah, definitely working with other people who aren't going down that specific road. So,
which again, I think is a testament to the fact that we don't just limit ourselves to that niche. Yeah,
and I do think that initial part of working with fucking everyone helps that so much because there's so many people that came to me who had, I only knew the Marines, whereas these people who come to me had fucking. They'd been working in a sedentary job for 30 years. They didn't know they couldn't do anything. So it was about meeting them where they're at, which is exactly what we do. So, but yeah, I think we'll happy to end there. Any others tangents you wanted to go off? Anyone else you wanted to throw under the bus?
I think I did quite well there, not throwing specific individuals.
Yeah, correct. Bus. Yeah, I mean, if anyone can winkle it out in the comments, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, leave it in the comments.
Because you said it then. So who knows?
No, but I appreciate that. I think it was quite good to weave my narrative together.
I agree.
Obviously, it's been interspersed throughout different episodes, but I think bringing it all together in one place.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it'd be a good idea.
Cause it was a good kind of thought exercise for me, even if no one else got anything from it.
I'm sure they did, because it's like certain people will relate to sort of the way I grew up and my sort of upbringing where. You're into sport early on and all that kind of stuff. But a load of people will be similar the same to you, where you go to school and then you have to kind of find your fitness, your relationship with fitness later on down the line. And some people might not even be there yet. So I think it's interesting to see how training has mapped your kind of confidence as you go through. And that's obviously a good insight for anyone who isn't yet into training. Be interesting why they listen to this podcast. But anyway, but you're welcome. So like, you know, if you're not into it yet and you feel there's something kind of maybe that you're missing, then it's probably that.
Yeah, exactly. If you take one thing from this podcast, I'd say that there's a type or form of fitness out there for you.
Correct. Yeah.
And if you haven't found it yet, it will come. It's out there somewhere.
It might not be 5x5 bench. Yeah. However, it could be fucking one of 1,000 other things.
Exactly.
So just try it, because again, like we said earlier on in the podcast, can't remember when, like halfway through, the physical movement for the human is essential. So whether that comes in the form of tennis or swimming or whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Find the type of fitness that you find enjoyable, basically. Because as you said, like, physical movement's essential. You don't get extra points for being fucking threaders while you're doing it.
Correct. Yeah, that's it. And that's some Chris Williams actually talks about that. Like, if you burn 1,500 calories from 90 minutes of pickleball and you really enjoy it, you actually consider that fun.
Yeah.
Whereas you might burn 1,500 calories on the ski erg for 90 minutes, but then you think, I'm the most disciplined man in the world because I've done 90 minutes on the ski erg. Well, actually, you're in the same fucking boat. You've just enjoyed 90 minutes versus had to, like, you know, G yourself up for it. So, yeah, find something you enjoy, do it consistently, and there you go. But that was Eddie's story from...
Yeah, apologies if I just chewed your ear off for an hour and you were bored shitless, but you would have turned off by then anyway, so...
Well, exactly. I think if they're still here, then they would have enjoyed something or taken something from it. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. What have we got next week?
Good question. Jim?
Yes, so we've got another interview, B2B interviews on the Brummy Brothers. So next week we're interviewing our current housemate, Jim Galvin, whose life story is completely different to Shep's and even more different to mine.
Correct.
So like the life story is coming thick and fast here.
It's going to be an interesting one actually. I'm quite excited for that.
And having picked, so obviously we know Jim pretty well now, having lived with him for like the past
3 weeks.
3 weeks. I feel like there's still so much to learn.
There is, yeah. I mean,
he's going to come out with some gold.
Yeah, so tune in next week, because it'll be a good one.
Yes. Goodbye.